Grabs Racing. Today I want to show you a little project that I've been working on to expand the analog I/O of our Megasquirt 3X box. It has a bit of analog I/O straight out of the box, but once you start doing turbo car stuff, say you got a dump and a fuel valve, you need a sensor on your wastegate, if you want coolant, or if you want coolant pressure, oil temperature, transmission pressure, transmission temperature, you start running out of I/O pretty quick. So I started shopping around to see what we could come up with cheaply that will get us a little more I/O. And what I've come up with is using Arduino Uno board, which is about $10. The link's there on the YouTube to go to Amazon and grab that. And a cheap CAN bus module. The CAN bus module is just a couple of dollars, and what it allows you to do is send signals from your Arduino chip out your CAN bus module and back into your Megasquirt. So what does the Arduino module give us? The $10 Uno box gives us 5 analog ins and 13 digital I/Os, which can also be used as pulse width modulated, or also can be pulse width modulated, so you can control various things with those. That's quite a bit of I/O for a decent price. Now, they also have one called a Mega. It's a 2560 R3 Mega from Inland that I got. It's just an Arduino knockoff, and I got this for $10 over at Micro Center. It's an ATmega 2560 microcontroller, 16 megahertz. Operating voltage is 5 volts. It has 54 digital I/O, 15 provide PWM. It has 16 analog inputs. So this thing, it says $19 on the package, but really I paid $10 for it at Micro Center. So I mean, 16 pins for $10 plus a $2, $3, $4 CAN bus module is pretty nice. It takes us, that gets us up there with all the other controllers for a decent price. So let me show you real quick how I have this set up, and then we'll go into the config. This is our Arduino board, and it's going back over here to the breadboard, and we're just using a simple 5 volts pots here. This just regulates the voltage going out from 5 volts down to 0, so we can kind of simulate it being a sensor wired up in the car, right? Most of our stuff works off 5 volts. So this is Arduino, and then this is the little CAN bus module. It takes a couple of wires. In the car, we won't use the breadboard and the header pin and stuff. We'll probably tear all that out and solder straight to it. And then I just got this going back into a weather pack connector into our Megasquirt 3X, and we got a gem stem running on here just to give it some power. So let me show you in the config here. You can see right here I've set up a generic 5 volt sensor, and how I did that was I went to CAN bus, CAN receiving, and I set up to listen for CAN, and I set up CAN ADC01 on this channel, and then its identifier is 1, its offset is 0, and I'm sitting on a 2-byte unsigned integer, and that's I believe that's big Indian is the B, and then low it's either high or low. And then we're not going to multiply it or divide it. It's just going to send the signal straight out. And then I come to Advanced Engine and went to Generic Sensor Inputs. And I've set it up here. Just CAN ADC, generic 5 volt sensor. And we're going to use raw. We're not going to do any sort of corrections or anything like that on this. We're just going to use this signal. And you can see it's kind of bouncing around a little bit now. And if I turn the pots, you'll see it goes from 0 to 1023, and that's what the Arduino puts out for its voltage ranges. If we wanted just voltage coming through, we can make a calculation on the Arduino. So that's how you set it up in Megasquirt. Now for the Arduino piece, It's real simple. And there's some things that caught me up here, and I'll go over those. Here it's just including the CAN libraries at the top and the SPI. And then we got to set the pin for CS. We set up another, or we set up the analog int. And then we begin our serial, which I kind of use to test this stuff. And then here, where it sets up the CAN bus, this is a cheaper CAN bus module which has an 8 megahertz crystal on it. And most of the ones you get are 16 megahertz. And they don't come out and just tell you, hey, you have to change the megahertz here. So if you're using the 8 megahertz crystal, make sure you specify it here. Otherwise, you'll chase your tail for quite a while like I did. And then we just set up a unsigned char STMP 8-byte. And down here, we read off of pin 0. That's where I have the pots wired to. And then I split the byte, it's an int 16, into high and low and put it in 0 and 1. And then we just send the CAN message out. The identifier is 0x01. And then it's 8 bytes. And that gets us a CAN message back over to Megasquirt. And we could set up as many of these as we want in the loop. We could use all 5 of them on the Uno, or we could use all 16 of them on the Mega if we wanted. We would just chain them together here and sample it as quickly as we could and send it out as quickly as we could. So that's what I've got right now. I'm hoping to have this in a car pretty soon. I've got some other things coming up that I want to do with the Mega. Maybe we're going to try and get rid of the Pi and move the digital dash over to the Arduino as well. We'll see how it goes. Anyhow, check back, like and subscribe, and click on some of the links there. And you can look at the specs and whatnot. I've linked everything back to Amazon. Thanks.